Talk with Hollywood legend Bob Eubanks.
You know, as part of Hollywood for a long time, I've seen my fair share of celebrities get in trouble with the IRS. Well, there's one name I trust, the Tax Defense Group. They're the most trusted name in tax. So if you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS, you really need to call my friends at the Tax Defense Group. Ignoring the IRS is not the solution. They can garnish your paycheck, levy your bank accounts, seize your home or business. But the Tax Defense Group could put a stop to all of that and tailor a program that would reduce your tax debt to pennies on the dollar. You gotta love that. So don't just take my word for it. Call them. Find out for yourself. They offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee, and they're open 24 hours a day because they know that tax debt doesn't sleep either.
Call now for your free and confidential tax analysis from the most trusted name in tax. Call 800-832-1594. 800-832-1594.
In financial news, the Dow gained its second biggest single-day point gain ever, increasing 1173 to 2791. The NASDAQ and S&P were also up. A well-known author and journalist is breaking ties with his publisher. USA Radio Network's Chris Barnes explains.
Journalist Ronan Farrow saying he, in his words, cannot work with his publisher after the company acquired his father Woody Allen's memoir. A division of Hachette Book Group saying that it will release Allen's Apropos of Nothing on April 7th. On Tuesday, Farrow tweeted he's disappointed, saying that Hachette had gone behind his back to acquire his father's memoir after other major publishers refused to pick it up. Farrow's own book, Catch and Kill, accuses powerful men, including Woody Allen, of avoiding accountability for sexual abuse. The journalist has long accused Allen of molesting Farrow's sister Dylan when she was just a child.
And you're listening to USA Radio News.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-215-5141. 800-215-5141. That's 800-215-5141.
President Trump set to visit Nashville on Friday after tornadoes ripped through the area early Wednesday morning. At least 24 people are dead, and it was the deadliest tornado outbreak in Tennessee since 2011. Former American Idol star Taylor Hicks is a Nashville resident. He tells Fox News the city is strong and will rebuild.
You know, I think Nashvillians are very strong. I think Southerners are very strong, and I think we welcome, obviously the president and the aid of the government right now to those areas affected, because as someone that has actually come from ground zero, I think we need to offer as much as we can as Americans to give these people that in this area really the need and the care that we should give them and that they deserve. Hands-On Nashville is a really great local organization that provides hands-on volunteer work. I know that they're scheduling a lot of volunteer get-togethers this weekend, and then I've dealt with the Alabama tornadoes and the April outbreaks with the Red Cross. We had a big benefit called Bama Rising. So the Red Cross and Hands-On of Nashville, HON.org, is both of those organizations I'm working with closely. And
BMW is making some changes to its iconic logo for the first time in nearly 20 years. The German automaker unveiled the new look on its Concept 14 model this week. For USA Radio News, I'm Tim Berg.
The following is an America Matters Media production. The views expressed do not necessarily represent those of the station or its advertisers, although we think they should. But that's the opinion of America Matters Media.
Welcome to this evening's episode of Rush Hour. I am your host, Kelly Rush, and we are a production of America Matters Media, the home of quality conversation. You can check us out on the web at americamatters.us. That's americamatters.us, our beautiful new website. We are also on Facebook, facebook.com/Reno Rush Hour, and that's also my Twitter handle, so you can follow me there, like me on Facebook, and we're also on YouTube. I have a personal Rush Hour radio show channel and also on the America Matters Media channel, so you can check that out. We are an interactive program. Call in toll free from anywhere in the world, 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-8255. Don't ask me why I sang that. That was dumb. Or you can just drop a line in the Facebook comments box on the watch party as soon as I pop that up in just a second. And my special guest who is fidgeting with his stuff there. Nope, turn that on. There you go. And clip yourself.
Oh my goodness, I'm falling apart.
Yeah, dude, I gave you all these instructions.
Before.
I know, you'd think, right?
Am I good now?
I think you're good.
Am I pretty? Okay.
Yeah, just make sure it sticks. There you go. Otherwise it goes and annoys all the people.
Oh, sorry, people.
You don't want to annoy the people.
No.
We love the people.
We love the people.
So this is Brian Lee.
How's everybody doing?
And we know Brian Lee because he's on Shannon Lawson's Nevada Radio Roundup on Fridays, every Friday from 2 to 3. Awesome show. Sponsored by Butcher's Kitchen Barbecue, Beefies, Foothill Productions with Doc Durden. We have all kinds of great folks that help us keep the lights on here. And you could be one of them, too. If you want to sponsor Rush Hour, I would love that. You can give me a call. 775-203-4950 is my cell. That would be cool. But Brian is here. He is now the manager of the Carson Comedy Club.
Yes.
Down at the Carson Nugget. Oh, what a great room that is. I have been down there multiple times to see Roger Dietz and Dave Mancarelli and JB Jr. Just such a fun room. I love it. I love it. So you are managing down there now.
Yes.
And you've got shows coming up.
Got a whole bunch. It's the fun thing about the room. It's like you're going to see people here that you normally don't see in this area.
Mm-hmm.
There's a circuit, I would say, that's, for lack of a better word, that runs through Reno that kind of just repeats itself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Carson, you got a whole new slew of people from all over the country. It's a nice mix of up-and-comers with some great veterans. Like 1 week you're going to see Dan St. Paul, who's been in the business for 25 years, and then the next week you're going to see like the guy we have coming up this week, Chris Cope,
Mm-hmm.
who's is a little bit newer to the scene, but he knows his stuff. So it's really awesome, and it doesn't make for a long night. It doesn't make for a late night. But it definitely makes for a fun night.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And there's some great restaurants down there too.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, you can go to Battleborn Social. You can go to the Union. You can go have a nice night of it. Have dinner and a show.
Exactly.
Down.
Those are some of the things we offer too. We can talk about that later on too. That's that goes with like our group rates and things like that. We're going to be doing dinner and a show. Exactly. So
yeah. So I mean, Carson has so much to offer now. It's really modernized. It's really, it's really come up. If you haven't been there in a while, first of all, take the bypass.
Mm-hmm.
Go down that bypass, zip zoom, 15, 20 minutes, and you're in downtown Carson now. And, there are some great new restaurants. Nice weather. The weather's so nice right now. And the Carson Comedy Club is so much fun. And, they have the wait staff that brings your drinks. And the drinks are awesome, and it's just a good time.
It's the whole setup. It's nice. It's not like your traditional comedy club. I mean, there's some people who've been, you go to the bigger chain clubs, and they're just set up a different way. They get their 2-drink minimum, and there's the set standard of the comedians and things like that. We touch none of the norms. It's
right. It's a different experience. Carson is a different experience, which is nice.
The crowd is fun too because there are the regulars. We have so many regulars, and they are awesome. And it's the point now they're part of the show, and it's just like we had a comedian a couple weeks ago, Stephen Briggs. He did about 35 minutes just interacting with the crowd, and they just ate it up. He didn't even have to do any of his material, and it turned into such a fun night. It's not a lot of comics can pull that off, but he did it. You know what I mean? And it was after the show, he's like, "How did that go?" And I'm like, "Dude, they loved you."
That is truly an art, being able to go completely improv. Audience interaction. Improv is one thing. Improv audience interaction is something all its own, and that's my very, very favorite because I'm an accidental heckler, like not a nasty. Like I'm just an interactor. Like when they ask questions, I answer, and I don't anymore. I've gotten really good, but I used to. And
well, that's funny because the longer in the business and you start talking to people and they're always the hecklers always come up. You always get either the people. It's like, oh, I just go to heckle.
Oh no! See, that's bull. Don't do that.
Yeah.
If that's you out there, if you're listening and you're the guy that that goes just to be an ass, don't do that. Comedians aren't there to talk to you.
No.
That's an act. When I learned this, the friendly hard way because I didn't do it on purpose. But even when they're asking questions in the act, you're really not supposed to answer unless they're specifically talking to you. If they say, "Sir, here in the blue shirt, where are you from?"
Yeah.
Then absolutely answer.
Yeah.
Don't leave them hanging.
I think Jay Leno made a career of that. Like, hey, did you hear about this? He didn't expect anybody to answer.
Right.
But so you get that. But there's since the size of the crowd is like it is such an intimate room. I think it's like the best way to describe it. So it's it's getting those people out there, and then you get the other folks who. The ones who you tell them, hey, sit up front, have a good time. Or, I don't want to sit up front because they're going to pick on me. And I have to remind them, I guarantee you, no comic wrote a joke specifically about you tonight. You're safe. Right. No one's crushing watermelons and no one's dogging you.
That's right. That's right. So we've got to go to our first break. We'll be back for the second segment of today's Rush Hour with Kelly Rush and funny man Brian Lee after these messages. Please come back.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
I spend a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain, sleet, and mud. In '95, I helped tow your moving trailer. In '05, I helped you get out of a ditch. Yeah, I know I'm a bit rusty, and sadly in '09, it was sparks from me, your handy chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire.
Sparks from dragging chains can start a wildfire. Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
1 in 3 adults in America have pre-diabetes, but most don't know it. To let people know it can be reversed before it becomes type 2 diabetes, professional basketball player Julius Randle is doing everything in reverse.
I'm only dunking with reverse windmills. I drove the whole way to practice in reverse. I don't recommend it. This move's called the reverse shuffle. I do recommend it. And it took me months to learn how to speak in reverse, like this. Years 10 almost for diabetes type 2 with living Ben has mama. In other words, my mom has been living with type 2 diabetes for almost 10 years. So together, we want to say to the 84 million Americans at risk, exercise and healthy eating can help reverse prediabetes. Start by taking a simple 1-minute risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Bet he can't say that in reverse.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ,
a Lotus broadcast station.
The power of radio since 1967.
To join the conversation, call 844-790-TALK. That's 844-790-KCKQ. 8255. Now back to the show.
And welcome back to the second segment of today's Rush Hour. I'm Kelly Rush, and my special guest is Brian Lee, manager of the Carson Comedy Club down at the Carson Nugget. And that's right on the main drag, right?
Yeah.
So Carson Avenue?
Yep, on Carson, yeah.
Carson Comedy Club at the Carson Nugget on Carson Avenue. Can't miss it. And on the phone, we have, speak of the devil, Roger Dietz. How are you, sir?
Hey, Kelly, good to get on the air with you.
Oh, it is so great to hear your voice, and I'm so sorry to hear you have a little injury there.
Yeah, well, it happens, you know.
Yeah, you know. But you are a tough cookie, and I know you're a fighter, and you will get through this. But it sounds like you did a number on your quad there.
Yeah, just it kind of came loose.
Yeah. That must feel really weird. I've never
put it back on, yeah.
I've done strains and sprains and tears and all of that, but I have never pulled anything straight off the bone.
Yeah.
I do that with chicken
whole
legs.
Collapsed under me, and I
Ouch.
said, this isn't right. I think I better see somebody.
Yeah. So, what else do you have going on other than, trying to heal? Are you practicing any new material or working on any plays? I know
I haven't worked on any new stuff, yeah. I was actually on a local radio show in Carson at the Carson Public Access Channel last week. They had, they were supposed to have 5 of us comedians, and 3 actually showed up, so we just did a little round-robin thing on that. It was kind of fun, yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I was at the Carson Comedy Club on Saturday night. Joby Sod was the headliner. Joby is really a funny guy. He was actually one of the ones that was supposed to have been on this radio show, and but his humor is extremely visual. And it doesn't come over on radio too well, so he decided he was going to pass.
That's funny. Well, you got to be doing this Facebook Live and YouTube stuff like we do. That works real well.
Hey, Roger.
Yeah,
Roger, how
do that, huh?
Roger, I got a question for you. This is Brian Lee, manager of the Carson Comedy Club.
Right.
Hey, how good was that?
My alter ego. Yeah.
How good was that host last week?
The host. Oh, God. I don't even remember the guy.
Oh, I'm so not letting you in ever again.
Well, tell him about you going in and almost giving him the kibosh there when you went in and kicking him.
Yeah, I felt so bad.
Yeah, I went in. Yeah. Went in to say hi to Joby, and they said, "Oh yeah, he's down there doing mic checks." Oh, I'll go say hi. I walked in, and Brian didn't know who I was, and
I mean, who doesn't know who Roger Dietz
is? I was in fear for my life there momentarily.
That's hilarious.
I so apologize, Roger. They had me do everything there. I host, I do the sound, I work the door. I do everything short of vacuuming afterwards, which I'm sure that's probably going to be next.
Yep.
That's so funny.
Don't give Dean any ideas.
That's funny.
But it's funny. They do this Casino Boss sitcom they've been shooting down there for the last year or so, and I play the comedy club manager Mario on that. So
that's so
if you want to
cool.
take a look at that, Kelly, it's on CasinoBossTV.com.
Oh,
online.
that's so cool. I'm going to check that out for sure.
Roger over there stealing my thunder. That's what I was.
That's really funny. So, Roger, you used to do Sheep Dip. You were kind of the head of that for a long time. And
I was, yeah.
Are you going to do any other acting now that that's wrapped up?
Actually, I have been doing quite a bit of acting. I played Theodore Roosevelt in a production of Newsies at the Carson Community Center last summer.
Oh, that's right. That was with your granddaughter?
Yeah, my granddaughter was in the show, and my daughter.
Oh, neat.
So we have all 3 generations in that. And then I've been doing the Polar Express the last few years. I did that. It runs out of Carson. They recreate the whole Polar Express movie, which is really kind of fun.
Oh, that's fun.
They run 3 trains a night, between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And so I had a lot of fun doing that as well. And I've been doing a lot of murder mystery dinners as well. I'm with a group called Fun Time Theater that does those.
Oh, neat.
I stay busy.
That's cool. That's cool. I do. I'm going to do the St. Patty's Day one with Fun Time. this month.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, with Kathy Easley.
So yeah,
Good,
that'll be
fun
fun.
group of people to work with.
It sure is. I love those. I got to do one before by accident because they had somebody drop out at the last minute, and I said, if you ever need a fill in again, and they do for this one, so I'm excited.
Yeah. I haven't been doing any since I tore my quad.
Oh, of course.
A little bit out of shape for that, but
Yeah.
I'll be getting back to it as soon as the doctor gives me the go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm going to let you go, and thank you so much for calling in. And you heal up, and I will hopefully see you on the stage down there at Carson. We'll get. I know the manager, so I can get you a booking.
Don't be a stranger down the club, Roger.
Very good. I will be back for sure.
Take care.
Hey, you guys have a fun afternoon.
Thanks for calling. Bye-bye. That was cool.
It was. I
Roger's such
felt.
a
Yeah, I
nice
did. I
guy.
felt so bad.
That's so funny. Yeah, Roger is just legendary. I mean, he's,
Well, no, just a funny quick. And the reason that it was such a weird thing was there was an incident at the club, probably not even a month ago, where before the show started, there was a gentleman who just was sitting in the front row and decided he was going to get up and walk across the stage and go into the green room. Just the one time that we didn't have security there.
just a rando.
Just random, yeah. And so I walked back and I'm looking at the comedian and he's like kind of looking at me and I'm like, do you know this guy? And he goes, he wanted to give me a joke to say on stage. And part of me's going, in what world is this totally acceptable?
Who does that?
Yeah, it was just, it's one of those, I'm drinking too much too early.
Yeah, yeah.
So I kind of, I nicely escorted him back to his seat. And then when the show started, we had a lot of fun with him. Yeah, he realized the error of his ways shortly after the show started.
That's funny. Was he on board, though? I mean, was he... Did he play along?
Well, he was pretty embarrassed because we just
That's
we
so
kinda,
cute.
Especially when the fact of the joke that the headliner took the joke and kind of changed it all around and made it really bad. So it turned into a good event, But since then there's no issues like that. So please come down. It is a very super safe environment. Nobody's gonna be walking around like crazy people. Yeah, security's like all there now. So it's
Doors are guarded.
Just absolute great place.
It really is. I love the Carson Comedy Club, and I love Carson. I mean, I just, it's a different vibe, and it's when you want to just kind of get away without going anywhere, without having to go, to California or Tonopah or Elko or, to get out of town, just go to Carson for a minute. It's so nice, and it's a world away in 20 minutes.
It's to me it's such an old school town. I'm from a city. I'm from a big city. I'm from Pittsburgh. So
Philly.
So
Dallas.
So yes, so you go to a place like this and it's like literally this is what I remember seeing in movies as a kid. It's like this with the little where you can walk everywhere and there's a town square and
absolutely. And I mean it's a relatively large town.
Yeah.
I mean it's not your quaint little Virginia city either, which is.
I'm going to say the Carson City, though, it reminds me of every episode of Twilight Zone. It really does.
But it is quaint. I mean, it is walkable. It is, you go downtown where the Nugget is, and you can walk to, some restaurants, coffee shop, some nice places, a little park, little green belt. It's. I want to go. I had to go down there to the governor's mansion last weekend to the Wild Mustang Mardi Gras.
Oh, fantastic!
Oh, it was so nice. It was just such a blast.
I'm a fall person, and Carson City in the fall that's the closest thing for me, like being back on the East Coast.
Oh God,
it is just It's
Isn't
so much fun. It is such a fun time.
I love fall. I love the fall too.
Halloween in Carson City is
Thanksgiving.
just great.
Yeah, that little 6-week streak. Yep, you're right.
And as you're waiting for the snow not to come in, it's great. Stay up on the mountain.
So, oh gosh, yeah, so nice. And Carson City Comedy Club. When's Kabisi coming? Kabir's saying I love him. God, he's funny.
So the Casino Boss that Roger mentioned is the show that we filmed down there. Kabir is one of the stars. And what we do is the last Friday of every month. The show is just filled with comedians. There's just so many. So the last Friday of every month, we bring in a different one of the comedians who stars on the show. This month is Kabir, so he'll be down there on the 27th of this month. The lineup this month is incredible. The week before that, March 20th, is one of my oldest friends in the business, the legendary Rex Meredith. We performed together 17 years ago, together in Pensacola, Florida.
Wow.
And that's it. And he's been he's from the old school. He's out of Houston, so he came out of the school that Sam Kinison and Bill Hicks and all those guys came out of.
Wow. So is he similar to? Is he that kind of?
He's not
quite as cynical.
No, but he he has just a vast amount of material. Yeah, just the amount of material he has is just incredible. It's like it's like throwback. If you're like a fan of the 80s comics, you're going to see like a little bit of that, mixed in with new stuff. And he's just puts on such an incredible show and just such a good guy to begin with. So like those last 2 weeks, you definitely want to, you don't want to miss out your chance to see.
And what are the dates of those?
Rex is the 20th of March, and Kabir is going to be the 27th of March. But we do it every Friday. This Friday is Chris Cope. Next week is Alex Eakin, both up and coming guys in the business. So you see, that's what we say. We have that big jump of the different types of comedians you're going to see.
Awesome. That is so cool. Well, we've got to go to another break. We will be back for the second half of today's Rush Hour with Kelly Rush and Brian Lee, manager of the Carson Comedy Club, the boss. After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Dennis Patterson. I'm the founder and owner of Nevada Advanced Pain Specialists. At Nevada Advanced Pain Specialists, we take a comprehensive approach to treating patients with chronic pain in the greater Reno, Tahoe area. We believe in the biopsychosocial model. This means we use multiple disciplines such as massage therapy, physical therapy, behavioral health, and medical treatments to treat your chronic pain. A plan of care is tailor-made for each individual patient. We always recommend conservative care first, but offer minimally invasive treatments when necessary. We are your one-stop shop. If it hurts, we can help. We pride ourselves in providing passionate care and making you feel welcome and understood. We are located in Reno and in Sparks, so give us a call to schedule a new patient consult at 284-8650. Again, that's 284-8650. Or visit our website at nvadvancedpain.com. We hope you choose Nevada Advanced Pain Specialists to be your center for injury rehabilitation. nvadvancedpain.com, 284-8650.
Home at Last opens doors to family, to freedom, to finally making it yours. Home at Last, a program of the Nevada Rural Housing Authority, opens doors to rural home buyers with incomes of up to $135,000, providing down payment assistance of more than $22,000, plus access to our exclusive pet adoption program. From Gardnerville to Fernley to Carson City and even Sparks, rural happens here in every county in Nevada. Learn more at homeatlastnv.org.
No word in the English language is less convincing than probably.
Are you sure we should get matching tattoos on our first date?
Sure. We'll probably stay together.
Probably? It's been 23 minutes since I ate. I can probably swim.
You should wait 30 minutes.
Okay, now tell me what to do. Cannonball! Cramp! Oh, I have a cramp.
I can probably hit the green from here.
Probably.
Can I get a mulligan?
Ready to go?
Hey, are you sure you're okay to drive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sober. Yeah, I'm probably okay. Probably okay isn't okay, especially when it comes to drinking and driving. If you're drinking, call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
GTG, BRB, OMW, be there in a few. You may think that these kinds of texts are fine because of their length, and you can easily send them at a stoplight. But no, answering one text can take your attention away from the road for 5 seconds. And traveling at 55 miles an hour, that's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Make good decisions. Don't text and drive.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
You're invited to join Business Connections with Anita every Wednesday from 10 to 11 a.m. here on 1180 a.m. KCKQ America Matters.
Are you shy and don't want to talk on the air? Text us your questions or comments to 775-237-2266. Now back to the show.
And welcome back to the second half of today's Rush Hour. I am Kelly Rush, and my special guest is Brian Lee, comedian extraordinaire and manager of the Carson Comedy Club down there at the Carson Nugget on Carson Street.
Yes.
Carson.
It's like Bad Company, the song Bad Company by the band Bad Company from the album
Bad Company. Right? Right? So funny.
That's what we do.
Hey, repetition, man. It works. Location.
Exactly.
But what was I going to say? Oh, this is an interactive program, like I said, at the top of the hour. So please call us like wonderful Roger Dietz did. Toll free from anywhere on the planet, 844-790-TALK, 844-790-8255, or you can drop us a line in the Facebook Watch Party comments box if you are checking us out online, and I will answer you there. Dale Panay just joined us. Oh, I love Dale Panay. He is so awesome. He's an amazing guitar player. Works with our wonderful Lacey J. Dalton.
Oh.
But he's also a solo artist as well. Just unspeakably talented. I mean, it just, it's very hard to shut me up, and he renders me silent. He's so talented. And Eddie Floyd is watching. Hi. And he just had cataract surgery in both of his eyes, so he's recovering from that. And so we wish him well there. And so yeah,
I got to say hi to a couple of people.
Please shout out.
So there's, let me see. So first of all, there's Lucy, who is my my biggest promoter, and she works in Fallon, and she does a great job down there. And every time we do shows down in Fallon, she is so great to us in getting us promoted. So Lucy, thanks for listening. And then I'm gonna go East Coast. We got a bunch of folks from the East Coast. First, I got my nephew, my favorite little monster. He's listening. He's supposed to be working. But this is a much better option. Thank you. And this is what happens when you grow up. You get to screw off at work. So congratulations and thanks for listening. And see, I got another from my cousin Judy, who's from a little town outside of Pittsburgh, as she reminded me.
Which one?
I'm not sure where she's at right now. It's somewhere between Georgetown and Burgettstown, and just outside of Pittsburgh. But she always gives me grief because I say Pittsburgh instead of.
Well, we all do.
Yeah.
I'm from Langhorne, Pennsylvania, but nobody knows. Nobody's ever heard of that, except for every once in a while when we would say, oh, we're from, suburban Philadelphia, and people would say, oh, where? And we'd say, oh, a little town called Langhorne. They would say Reedman's Cars, because they're like the Dolans.
Okay.
Reedman's it was a gentleman and family, and they were the dealers. They had all the big brands, and that's where my dad would get most of our cars, and he knew Mr. Reedman, and it was so awesome. That's where I learned how to buy cars, and because I would go watch my dad, and I've done 21 car deals in my life, and I always tell people, if you want to buy a car, take me with you. I know how to do it, and
it is a skill. It is definitely a skill.
I love doing it. I love to do it. I enjoy the process, and I'm good at it, and I know how it works. Mm-hmm. I love it. So, so that would always be funny when we'd be somewhere, Helen gone across the country, and people would say, oh, Reedman's, and we'd go, yeah, oh, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, small town.
But my Pittsburgh people, I just found out today I'll be actually back in Pittsburgh in May, just outside of Pittsburgh in Washington, Pennsylvania. I'll be headlining out there in May, so hit me up on Facebook so I get you some ticket information. So if you're listening from Pittsburgh and you want to see the whole show, come on out and I'll give you the details. And a couple more quick people. Jennifer, from right over here in Sparks, I believe she is. Thanks for tuning in and listening. And finally, my comrade director Whitney from Carson City. She is the one that also helps make the comedy club run.
That's awesome.
And she is
so
the best.
Always a team effort,
Yeah, she's since she's come on board, she's helped just immensely. Just really puts her heart and soul into the place, and it's fantastic.
Wonderful. Thank you, Whitney. We appreciate it, because Carson Comedy Club is a great, great place, and I want it to succeed, and I want people to know about it, and I want to be part of helping, with that mission. So that's why we're doing this here, and so we appreciate your efforts too.
I love it. It's since I retired from the military, I've been able to dedicate time, full time to it, and it's so much fun, and it's I like to call it a great retirement plan.
That's awesome. And let's talk about, speaking of, first of all, thank you for your service, and second of all, let's talk about, don't you have some military veterans?
Well, yeah, one of the other things that we're doing. Yeah, one of the things we're doing at Carson. There's a lot of organizations do their military appreciation night, things like that. We're doing 4. We're doing 4 this year. We've already done 1, so we got 3 more coming up. We're going to do May 15th, July 3rd, and November 6th. They're all going to fall right before major holidays. It's going to be before 4th of July, before Memorial Day, and before Veterans Day. And there's going to be specials like 2 for 1, for military folks coming in, just like all kinds of little things. We're also going to be offering group sales too. So if you got, like a group from the American Legion or VFWs coming in, and we always book, and that's one thing I really love about Carson. They get a lot of these comedians who all served in the military. And for each one of these shows, we're going to make sure that we have like one of these former military guys performing.
Awesome.
And I've got to work with all these folks, and they are fantastic, and they just put on great shows. So I'm not sure who we're going to book when, but those are going to be the dates. And you can always, look at our website or look us up on Facebook, and all the announcements will be on there as well. But they are very and. You don't have to wait for that for military appreciation. That's one thing about the Carson Comedy Club is every week the veterans are taken care of.
That's awesome.
So
yeah,
you show up, and there's going to be discounts and stuff like that, and always reach out to me because I know people there, so I make sure the military people. I make sure military folks are taken care of, and there's a lot of our audience are military folks, and everybody just has such a good time, especially when we have those military.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's awesome, and. We are so, we love our vets here. We have our show Military Matters on Tuesdays from 11 to noon with Doc Schwartz and Colonel. And did Ricky Harold came back today. That's awesome. And so we're very, very dedicated to our veterans here as well. And so, be sure to let us know. We can cut an ad if you want.
Oh yeah, that'd be
those for those.
Yeah, once we get closer to the dates, it's going to be fun, and it's again, you don't have to wait. This is every Friday. Come on, and have a good time with us, and it's everybody's taken care of.
And what else was I going to say? Oh, it'll come back to me. But anyway, we love our vets and. Want to help.
This is
support.
for the folks who are living, outside of Nevada. If you're ever about thinking of coming somewhere to retire and being taken care of as a veteran, Nevada is the place to do it.
Yeah, we don't want to overuse our resources here, but no, I'm kidding. Come on, we love you, and we do. We have such a
Elko is beautiful this time of year.
Elko is wonderful. So is Ely, but and where I really love is Tonopah.
Tonopah's fantastic.
I wanted to buy that clown motel so bad, but I wasn't paying $1 million for it.
For the folks who don't know what Tonopah is, you probably all seen it on Facebook or on TV. The Clown Motel. Mm-hmm. It is just a couple hours down the road from this place, and it is every bit as creepy as it is on TV.
Yeah. Yep. But
Tonopah is such a neat little town.
I love that whole area, and I would love to buy. I've always wanted to own a town. Like seriously, like just and they come up for sale every once in a while, and usually they're very cheap because they're abandoned, and there's reasons for that. But seriously, I've just always wanted to buy a little quaint little Virginia City type town.
So would you automatically name yourself mayor, or would you?
No.
You wouldn't even call yourself mayor of?
Well, it depends. I mean, I'd have to be it depends on if there was already a population, or if I bought like an abandoned place and friends and people moved there. It would totally depend. But like if I bought a town that already existed, no, it would be an elections. It would be I'd have to be elected. No, I wouldn't just name myself, hey, here I am, I'm taking over. No.
But you bought it. That's it.
But it would still be a democracy.
Fair enough.
So I would just own, the municipal stuff. But no, there'd be legalities for all of that.
That is awesome. I never thought about just buying a town. I always wanted to buy an island. I never thought about buying a town.
That too.
That would be.
Oh yeah.
That would
That would be really cool.
And I definitely would name myself like King.
No, the island would be for like vacationing. Like I wouldn't live there. That would be a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Like having to get supplies and all that. That would be more of like a resort.
Oh, now you're just ruining my fantasy. Gee.
Well, you'd have so much money that it wouldn't. I mean,
good point.
Own, you just want to. You wouldn't want to live.
That's a good point.
So you'd have to. So practicality comes in.
Fair enough.
Believe me, I've thought all this stuff out. I've been there. So, we're about to go to a break, but we'll come back and talk more about fantasies and stuff like this.
Well, this show took a turn.
Fantasy Island, But remember that show?
Yes, they just made a movie. It just was just out in theaters a couple.
Serious?
Yeah.
It's a horror movie, though.
Yeah, it's a horror movie.
It is? Mm-hmm. Oh, I have to check that out. That would be fun. Ooh, is it in the theaters?
It was recently. It's up, but it was. I think it was like a real short turn.
Yeah. Didn't last long.
No.
Wow.
It didn't get a lot of.
Check direct to video. Yeah. Well, we've got to go to a break. We'll be back for the fourth and final segment of today's Rush Hour with Kelly Rush and Brian Lee and Christian Meyer after the messages.
You wanted to see me?
Yes, please, have a seat. So here's the thing. When this company brought you on, we took a chance on you. You didn't have that 4-year college degree we typically look for.
Right.
But we gave you a shot anyway. And since then, you've worked incredibly hard and given it your all.
Thanks.
You've been an important asset to the team, but I don't think you can be an intern here anymore. We want to hire you.
You're serious?
Absolutely.
Find your next great employee. Introduce yourself to the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
I won't let you down.
I know.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
So here's the choice. Some people say the USA is finished. It's evil, a has-been, full of hate and injustice. The U.S. Constitution should be trashed and the Bill of Rights abolished. No free speech, no gun ownership. Competition and free markets are bad. We're all too stupid. For our own good, the government must own everything and know all your secrets.
Other people say that America has created the freest, richest, happiest, most generous society that has ever existed in the world. That's why millions of people are desperate to come here and escape their brutal lives in Cuba, Venezuela, North Korea, and 100 other countries.
In America, we have the right to succeed, the right to our own living, the right to have a family, the right to believe in God, the right to have our own ideas, the right to be safe and secure, and the right to be left alone.
Where do you stand? Help us save the Constitution and restore the American dream. Go to SaveMyFreedom.com.
Brought to you by the American Media Council.
Rich is just a really good guy. The term good egg isn't enough to describe him. He's also certified organic and free range. Rich puts the cap back on everything. The toothpaste, the olive oil, the shampoo, everything. He lets his 10-year-old nephew beat him at virtual tennis, even though he can straight up slay his 10-year-old nephew in virtual tennis. When the toilet paper is running low, Rich replaces the roll on the actual holder, not just on the back of the toilet. Rich is texting and driving. Rich, no. What are you doing, Rich? I was just telling everyone how great you are. Texting and driving makes good people look bad. visit stoptextstoprex.org. A public service announcement brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
This is America Matters Media on AM 1180 KCKQ, a Lotus broadcast station. The power of radio since 1967.
Want to expand your advertising dollar? Sponsor this or any America Matters program by calling 775-827-8900, extension 2. Now back to the show.
Welcome back to the fourth and final segment of today's Rush Hour. I am your host, Kelly Rush, and I am with Brian Lee, comedian and manager of the Carson Comedy Club at the Carson Nugget on Carson Street. What else do you do for a living?
I don't know. I do have I have a day job that keeps him kind of busy. I don't really go into too much about that. I like to keep them separate. It's fun. But I'm mostly enjoying my military retirement, and that gives me like a lot of time.
You're double dipping.
Yeah,
I love that.
Yeah, it's a fantastic thing.
Such a great thing.
We used to call in the military? It's being dink, dual income, and no kids.
Yep.
So yeah, that's
the way to do it.
That's my life right now. It's fantastic.
I'm a sink.
That's fantastic. So that's what it is. It's a good time. It gives me like a lot of time to travel and do stuff. I have a bunch of bookings coming up, like out of town. I'm going all the way to Fresno, doing 2 shows in Fresno next month. Very excited about that.
Man, all the way to Fresno.
Very
you packing? Are you gonna pack a suitcase and
I was gonna say,
snacks?
It's gonna be
a road trip.
It is gonna be a fun show. Those are actually gonna be really, really good shows. 2 different shows at 2 different places. They said I'm going back to back east in May to do some work and of course, and then every Friday I'm doing stuff at the Carson Comedy Club, and they said we're gonna be expanding. We got some other big stuff coming up. They said with Casino Boss and everybody else, the club's just getting bigger every week, and the crowds are getting bigger, and it's just such a good time. And people definitely need to come out and check it out.
Absolutely. And who are some of your favorite comedians?
Wow, growing up, my favorite is, and I didn't realize it was one of my biggest influences, is because people forget he was a stand-up. I was a Steve Martin fan.
Yeah.
I think I was 7 years old, and my brother had his album Let's Get Small, and I had the whole thing memorized. He was clean.
Oh yeah.
But so I had the whole thing memorized, and my brother and sister, their friends would come around, and they'd be like, "Hey, do Steve Martin stuff," and I could just basically didn't know what half the jokes meant, but I could parrot them, and so I was a Steve Martin fan. Andy Kaufman.
Really?
Loved.
I never got him.
I appreciate him because he was dedicated to his humor, and that's the rarity, It's but there were some of the things I remember I watched him on that very first episode of Saturday Night Live.
Sure.
I saw the Mighty Mouse routine, and I just thought it was the funniest thing. I got it, and I didn't even realize I got it, but I was like, this is so funny. George Carlin a lot of people don't realize that he started out as a clean comedian.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he just and just how he morphed from doing characters and skit work to what he morphed into. Just a very very unhappy guy sometimes, but still no one can write like him.
Yeah,
just absolute genius.
I absolutely adored him. I saw him in the Carlin at Carnegie, the Carlin at Carnegie days, and that was some of the best stuff ever. That was when I first got introduced to stand up, even 84 to Jay Leno, Carlin at Carnegie, Rodney Dangerfield 9th annual Young Comedian Special with
Sam
Kinison and Harry Basil.
Yes.
Harry freaking Basil.
I saw him in 93 in El Paso, Texas.
Wow.
And just absolutely fantastic. That was one of the best nights. He was so funny. And again, I love seeing the guys from back then.
I can't believe I have not seen him yet. I keep missing him when he comes up here or he cancels. And it's just awful.
He's got a lot going on. I get that, but yeah, he was so funny. But yeah, and that was that's it. It was it's weird how the stand-up scene changes.
Oh, yeah.
It changed with YouTube and Netflix. Unfortunately, I say unfortunately, but it's when I started, it was about hustling. It was about going out and meeting people and shaking hands and getting gigs. And now it's like, hey, here's my 5-minute routine. I'm going to post it on Facebook, and hopefully I want to get booked somewhere. So it's I want to say it's like kind of watered down the business a little bit, but not too bad. I think it's making another good comeback, and people are starting to appreciate live comedy. That's the best way. What you see on TV and what you see on Facebook or videos or YouTube or whatever, that's fine. But nothing is as good as getting out there and sitting in a club and watching this stuff.
Oh,
because you never know what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
I've been part of seeing comedians melt down.
Oh.
I've seen, but then again, I've seen some of the single greatest shows ever. You never know what you're going to get. Take advantage of it while you can, because the guy you're seeing today is going to be the next big thing tomorrow.
Sure. And their style will change and evolve. And, I saw Jerry Seinfeld when I was in college, at my community college. And, he was a jerk. Yeah. I met him afterwards. He wasn't very friendly.
And that's another thing too. Like the college gigs, that used to be like, that was the thing. Everybody used to be fun. You don't see like a lot of comics like wanting to do those. Nowadays, it's they're tougher crowds. They're more interested in what's going on a foot in front of their face with the phone than they are than what's going on up on the stage. It's one of those things where it's such a great social activity, and that's that's the one thing.
It's so much fun, especially you have a drink, or maybe two, but you watch the rest of the audience get trashed. slowly, especially if it's 3 or 4 comedians or 5 or longer night, and watch people. Oh, it just gets hilarious.
And it's like I've done some shows in Vegas and everything, and it's so fun because you do like an early show and a late show, which is one thing we don't have to put up with. But like it's so funny, you do like the 8 o'clock show, and it's so fun, and everybody's like just upbeat and ready to go. And then that 10:30 show rolls in, and these are just people who've just been drinking all day. It's like a whole new monster. So it's kind of fun to and then you have to basically recalibrate all your stuff to like, okay, what is this crowd gonna like?
Right. What are they gonna understand?
Yeah.
And do you have different shows for different moods and different?
Like being a host, right now, I mean, I do have like my headlines show where it's kind of like set in stone, just because it is what it is. It morphs a little bit, but when you're hosting, which what I do, for me, I play the crowd. It's like, or if it's like around holidays, it's like, of course, like the stuff I do at Christmas time is going to be different than what I normally do.
Sure.
Of course, the Valentine's Day show, those are always fun.
Oh, really?
We had a great Valentine's Day show this year.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic show.
What was that all about?
It was probably one of the biggest crowds we had, so it was so much fun. Surprisingly, wasn't a lot of couples. So it was almost like the Lonely Hearts Club, and it made it even more fun. So it was, so we got to play like a lot off of that. So it's the nice thing is after you've been in the business for so long, you learn just to and just to interact and have fun and get people going. Especially I'm fortunate enough to work at a club where I have these familiar faces where it's easy to play off of them. It's like, hey, I know what's going on with you, so if you want to be part of this, we can we can have some interaction, have some fun, things like that. But there's
that's a safe like if there's a lull or you can always
and that's the nice thing. People come in and they realize they're not going to be targets. No one's going to be picked on. This is if you're going to be picked on, it's because you're going to bring it on yourself.
Oh yeah, no, not be picked on, but that you can interact with them. Hey,
But I love coming out there saying, hey, who's got a birthday? Who's got an anniversary? I want to know what's going on. Because those are the funny ones. Those are people that are out having a good time for a reason.
Sure.
Let's make their experience even better.
Right.
That's what we're gonna do.
What's the worst you've ever had? Like, what's the?
I had. This was. Okay, I'm gonna.
That you were able to turn like that you.
Oh, I had the worst place I ever worked. Well, Maryland in general, notoriously bad crowds. because they don't understand that they're in a live theater. They think they're in their living room. And I had this young lady who was front row center in this very big room and there's a big crowd. And she had parrot disease. I'm not sure if you know what parrot disease is, where she had to repeat every punchline 30 seconds after I said it. And she just kept going. And I just kept telling her, you know, hey, could you stop? You know? And
she can't help it.
No, and then, of course, then it was like, shut up. And then it was bad words, shut up. And then at one point, I was just like, I just said, you know, hey, can you guys help me out there? And the entire crowd yelled at her and told her to shut up. And then she starts crying. I'm like, are you seriously crying now because you just caused it? And then she stopped crying, and then she was happy again, and then she started parroting again, and then she was going through this like vicious cycle. And I was like, oh, this is just...
Did she explain what was...
Well, after the show was over, like, she finally calmed down, and I talked to the people who were sitting at the table with her, and they explained to me what her problem was, and it was not, she just wasn't, she was, I say medicated, I think it was the word, and just not...
She didn't take her... Yeah, because there's an actual disorder called echolalia that you can't, she can't help it.
Yeah, but no, she was, it wasn't that kind of medicine. I just think she might have had like a little bit too much before the show was starting. But I've been very fortunate with my crowds, and it's that's one thing that's nice.
Wow. Well, Brian Lee, thank you so much. It was so great to finally have you on the show for a whole hour, and we made it. And so anyway, Brian Lee, manager of the Carson Comedy Club at Carson Nugget in Carson City on Carson Street. You have some great shows coming up. 775-882-1626 is the number. CarsonComedyClub.com, CarsonComedyClub.com, CarsonComedyClub.com for all the information. Some great shows coming up every Friday at 8 p.m. Just some amazing stuff. Go to CarsonComedyClub.com for all the information, and Rush Hour Radio Show, it'll be posted.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your basement. There's a pair of overalls that overall you're not so into anymore. A perfectly good laptop that hasn't sat in your lap in months. And even more stuff, but still no jobs? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed, and they're the stuff inside your stuff. Even inside that winter coat that moved with you to Phoenix. Our job is to unlock those jobs, and it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill.